Now, this juncture in the offseason, the one thing that we've heard from the second-round pick trades to everything is flexibility. This Bulls team does not have a lot of open roster spots, and that's just what it is. They don't have open roster spots. So I think that's just what it comes down to. You don't have a lot of open roster spots, so your flexibility, you're going to try to use that the best you can, and that's just it. So they're not going to hand out roster spots just for the sake of it. The AK days are done. They're done handing out things just for the sake of saying that you handed it out to things. And I also think a little bit, right, and this is the more cynical brain of me, that I do think there was some degree that the Bulls had Yuki Kawamura on there for jersey sales. I'm not going to lie to you. Not to say that Yuki wasn't worth a two-way contract, that he wasn't an exciting player, but there's part of me that just thinks that Yuki was there to help sell some jerseys because he brought a big Asian market with him. There's a lot of Yuki Kawamura jerseys sold, even if he never played a game for the Chicago Bulls in the NBA, even though he did play some actual NBA games for the Bulls. And that's just what it is, man. But, like I said, I wish him the best. But this just continues to show that Bryson Graham, this offseason is about competition. It's really about bringing in competition, bringing in the standard, and really reshaping this roster. And the Bulls are going to continue to do that. They're going to continue to make those steps, and they continue to go down that path. And, everything is pointed to that and shown that. That's not going to change for this team anytime soon. The Bryson Graham era is going to be about how this team continues to build, how it continues to do those type of things. Yuki Kawamura just was not a slat player. That's just the reality of it. He was not a slat player for this team. So, that's just what it comes down to. Yuki Kawamura is just not a slat player. But Leonard Miller, and now the upside that Leonard Miller is going to bring to this team, as far as what he can end up showing, is going to be something that's worth looking at and seeing what it can turn into for this team, man. I think that's what you're looking at overall, and now we just got to see how that's going to continue to develop here, man. But yeah, and I think that's really it. That's it. Yuki Kawamura does not fit slap. He's a player that was a very exciting player, the time that he was here, but he's not somebody that I think the Bulls are in this era of the Chicago Bulls we're going to continue to invest in. We're not going to continue to invest in Yuki Kawamura, and that's just the reality of it. So now we get to see what's next for Yuki. I hope that Yuki has himself a great career. And yeah, that's it. Let's be honest here. A 5'6" player playing in the NBA is not exactly. And like I said, no offense to Yuki or anything like that, because I think Yuki worked his ass off to get to where he is. That's just the real. Yuki Kawamura worked his absolute ass off to get to this spot in the NBA. And you don't get to that being an undersized player without working your ass off. And he deserves to be commended for that. Yuki Kawamura absolutely worked his ass off. But I think now you also have to realize that, we have a different team, and they're going to give those developmental spots to people that they see the vision in. Yuki maybe can come back on a G League contract. Maybe you get Yuki Kawamura to re-sign here on just a straight-up G League contract if another team doesn't give him a two-way. But as far as, investing that development in Yuki with actual roster spots, two-way spots, that Bryson Graham's going to want those two-way spots to go to players that he wants to invest in, that he sees a future with. Now, as far as Leonard Miller was an easy option pickup. How strong Leonard Miller ended the season last year, he deserves to get an opportunity here. It's $2.4 million on the option, so it's a very low-cost, high-potential reward option there for the Chicago Bulls. And, even though the forward room has gotten crowded now, the forward room is a very crowded place for the Chicago Bulls. Like I said, you got Modest. You got Caleb, right? Those are your starters. You got Jalen Smith that's still here. And then you got guys like Noah Essengay and Leonard Miller, right, who, you want to develop and see what you're going to have to. They both kind of fit Bryson Graham's slat profile, so you have that part. You got 5 forwards on this team fighting over 96 minutes. Now, and Dalen Swain is also going to play some forward minutes, right? Like some. I think he's going to play a lot of guard, but he's going to play some forward minutes as well. So you still have that part of it also, right? So, even with Leonard Miller, he's shown himself, the way that he finished last season is that it comes down to he's worth the investment in. And that's one of the things me and Pat disagree on. Pat has said, well, yeah, I'm not that high on this. It's not about being high on Leonard. It's about where the Bulls are now. Where do you want to invest your time with? What do you want to put your development minutes into? And Leonard is, at least at the minimum, has showed, the defense that he brings, the upside, the rebounding, the two-way play, Leonard Miller brings a lot of things that you can look at and say, you can do a lot worse than investing this into Leonard Miller. A lot worse. So, let's keep it going. That's just what it is. Leonard Miller has shown that he is worth investment in and seeing what he can get out of him. $2.4 million, low risk. That's next to nothing for a player. That's less than even some second-round picks are going to make. You keep a young, athletic forward that has developmental tools. It makes sense for the Bulls in the short term, and it makes sense for the Bulls if you believe that there's something in there that you can develop with Leonard Miller long term. It works for that as well. Now, the forward room, like I said, is getting very crowded. It's getting very, very crowded. But the crowdedness of the forward room, I think, is good because it breeds competition. These guys are going to have to bring it every single day if they're going to want to earn minutes for this team. There is not going to be a day off for any of them. If you want to earn forward minutes on this Chicago Bulls team, you are going to have to do it. Now, the benefit is that they all play multiple positions. Modest plays the 3 and the 4. Caleb Wilson can play the 3, 4, or small ball 5. Jalen is a 4 or 5. Noah Essengay can play 3, 4, or 5. Leonard Miller, I think he could play some 3. I wouldn't play him a lot at the 3, and he could play some small ball 5. Maybe he's more straight, just 4. But Leonard Miller, another guy that can play multiple positions. So that's the benefit. Having multiple tools and look at it, like I said, you look at it as a tool shed. You want to go in there and get tools that can do multiple things. That's what the Bulls have. All those guys give effort on both sides of the ball. Modest has grown as a defender. He's grown as an offensive player. Caleb Wilson is going to be a really good defender, and he's a solid offensive player that needs to work on his jump shot. Leonard Miller's a two-way player as well. Jalen Smith's a two-way player to a degree. Jalen Smith's on-ball defense is still mad suspect at a lot of times, but he's still a two-way player. So you're building in your forwards, and it fits the model that we go with as well. So I think that, the forward room's getting a bit crowded, but that's good. Competition is good. These guys are going to have to come in training camp, and they're going to have to know if you want minutes on this team for Tiago Splitter, you got to bring it. You got to bring the energy. You got to bring the versatility. You got to bring the effort. You got to play every single game like it matters. And that's the special part about it, right? And great point here from Chicago Chamberlain. It says it's a lot of versatility on this team with potential to grow. That's a big dub. Absolutely. That's absolutely a big dub here. Sit for Flow State. Hey, we appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate you supporting the channel. But yeah, and that's just it, man. That's it. So, I'm not surprised by these moves at all. I know that, like I said, Yuki Kawamura has had his fan base, and, his fans in the Bulls fan base, and that's perfectly fine. But this is all about the continued development of the team and the players. If we want to make a step and be a respectable team, these are the type of moves that you have to make. And Bryson Graham has gone about this and just maintain flexibility has been the name of the game. Bryson Graham, flexibility from top to bottom, flexibility in your rotations, in your players that can play multiple positions, flexibility with your roster, flexibility with everything. That's what Bryson Graham has. If we're taking anything from this first offseason with Bryson Graham, is that you can learn how much he appreciates flexibility. And that's just and listen, you're not always going to have it. If these players start working out, you got to start re-signing players to deals, things like that. You're not always going to have a bunch of roster flexibility. You're not always going to have a bunch of financial flexibility. So while you have it, you want to use it to the best of its ability. And that's what Bryson Graham is doing right now. He's using the flexibility built in with where this team is and using that to really take it a little bit far. That means no P. Will minutes, and that's good. Listen, I know we had a voicemail on today's mailbag episode where somebody's still holding out hope for P. Will and minutes and stuff like that. And I think everything that we've seen and everything and that's not to say, I want to be clear here. Could P. Will come into training camp and make Tiago Splitter look at it and say, damn, I may have to play P. Will? Maybe. I'm not going to count anybody out. But as it stands right now, that passive nature of P. Will, that I don't give that blah type attitude and mindset about attacking your development and on the court, that's not going to slide here anymore for P. Will. So, I'll say this, like the thing that I love about it the most is that between Tiago and Bryson Graham, if you're lazy, if you don't show that you want it, if you're not bringing it on the court every single night, they're not going to play you. They may have to pay you because you got a contract, but they're not going to play you just because of a contract. I firmly believe that. P. Will is not going to play. There's still people that hold out that oh, my God, P. Will is going to play because he's getting paid $18, $19 million. I fully don't believe that. I do not believe that this team is going to play him just because he has a contract. If he's not bringing it, if he's not showing something, he's not going to play. You notice in all the forwards that I mentioned, I didn't even mention Patrick Williams. He should be a two-way forward that I mentioned, but he's not there. So I think that's just it, man. It's gonna be an uphill battle if you want to be in this Bulls rotation consistently. it's an uphill battle for all these guys. You got to show it every single night. And if you're not showing it every single night, if you're not bringing it, if you're not playing with that fire, if you don't play like you give a damn, you're not going to play on this team. And that's a much better place than we've been in as a franchise for a long time. We've not been able to say that. So I'm not mad at it. We'll see where it's going to go. We got Deanna in the building. Says Bryson is making moves so far, so good. Yeah, everything that he's done so far as the decision, I've understood. So we'll see how it continues to go. Free agency opens up in 3 days. I would not be surprised if we start hearing some rumblings about, some meetings they're trying to set up and stuff like that. But free agency, I can't wait to see what Bryson Graham and how he attacks free agency, because the way he's gone about the draft, the way that he made the trade for Nick Claxton, I think that free agency is going to be real fun for the Bulls, even though the Bulls are only going to have 2 or 3 open roster spots. But I think Bryson Graham's going to try to make the most out of it that he can. And I know for a lot of Bulls fans, if he does find a way to trade P. Will, that's going to be the icing on the cake for them. So we'll see what's going to happen. We'll see what comes of it. I hope that it all works out for Bulls fans, and I hope that we go into next season and we really have a lot of excitement, not only about where the team is, but also the direction that we're heading. That's the part 2 in all this. We can be excited about where we are, but we got to be also excited and see the vision of the direction. And that's the thing that was lacking so much under AKs. We didn't believe in the direction. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens in regards to that. Making moves like trading away players in the second. Yep, because they were bad players. And you still got really good players as UDFAs. Yep, that's an absolutely smart move. Here's the thing, right? Because people want to bitch, and especially guys like Joshua here. He's a consummate bitcher. Like he really is. Like he's really mama, because he just bitches like an old woman. But here's the thing. When you bring somebody in and one of their best assets and attributes is their talent evaluation, then you trust the talent evaluation. If you went into a mechanic and the mechanic told you, hey, yeah, you can put money out. I'll try to fix this engine, but it's going to go out on you in another 6 months. And you're going to have to spend money again, or you can just get a new car now. If you go ahead and make that mechanic repair that engine, you can only blame yourself, and in 6 months, you ain't got shit out of it. And so Bryson Graham's evaluation of the talent, at that point at 38, there were no players that were like the one player that I could say would have made sense to maybe invest in is Henry Vassar. But other than that, we got players just about as good in the UDFA market. So, yes, it still very much is a good acquisition to do that. Y'all just are casuals, and y'all don't understand that because y'all just want to bitch and complain. It is what it is. But all right, y'all, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are amazing. Make sure you guys stay in tune with us. Hit that subscribe button, the like button as well, as we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the start of the 2026-27 season. I love you guys. You guys are the lifeblood of this channel. Make sure you follow us at Bull Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything basketball and especially Chicago Bulls related. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.